Let's move on now to the Seattle Seahawks 2023 season prediction video, where we will break down the entire regular season for the Seattle Seahawks. And Ryan and I will also give our overall thoughts on their playoff probability. But before we do that, if you have not already, smash that subscribe button and also ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan and I, we are doing a season-long competition where we will predict and make videos on every single NFL game, and that will start next week. Also, starting this Sunday, we will be going live for the first of our mini Sunday night series where we will review that day's action, also start to preview the upcoming week's games. So if you want to see the live videos and also follow our season-long competition, subscribe and ring the bell, as it is the easiest way to get notified. And Ryan, let's get into it here.
Let's do it.
We predicted the winners for every single game, and we also had some ties thrown in there as well. And what that does is also for us kind of in our minds be able to show the floor and ceiling for each team. So if you can pull up the schedule here, we have the Seahawks. The Seahawks are one of the few teams that are not division winner locks, but are a playoff lock throughout the entire NFL, because there's some good depth on both conferences for like a good 7 seed, but there's no guarantee they're going to make it, and they're definitely not going to win the division.
Yeah,
and Seattle is definitely one of those teams. We have them going 11-2-4, and just looking at their schedule, I think 11 wins is extremely doable.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to be having some tough games against some playoff teams. And I think that's going to be the record that I look at here kind of before we break down, is just versus the playoff teams. They're 1-2-4. So there's a lot of good toss-up games because the Seahawks keep improving. Pete Carroll, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches in the league. I mean, you don't stay with the franchise for well over 10, 15 years if you're not a good quality coach.
Let's give a lot of people PTSD right there.
I know, yeah. Time to wake up, everybody. But anyways, so there's a lot of playoff matches that they have going up, and even starting off the gate, I think they have an easy game against the Rams. They should be able to win. It is week 1, so anything can happen. But then against the Lions, they barely beat the Lions last year, and that was when the Lions weren't playing well defensively, but it was a 48-45 offensive shootout.
Yeah.
But then they do have an early bye, and we actually even do have a couple of upsets here that I think that they could go their way, starting off like with the Bengals. But overall, though, I think that's a good start for before their bye. The first 5 games, I think, are extremely doable.
Oh yeah, definitely. Coming out of that 3-1 would be fantastic for them going into that bye on a positive note, especially against the Giants. The Giants are a good team, but not a great team. And they'll be competing for a wild card spot as well. So getting a tiebreaker over them would be huge. And then coming out of the bye, they have the Bengals. We have them winning that game. I think that could really be a tie. That'll be a really fun game to watch. But then they have another couple easy games: Cardinals, Browns. I think they match up pretty well against the Ravens, if I do say so myself. So I like that. Commanders, that's a tough one. And then they go Rams, and then they do have a tough end to the season.
Yeah.
Starting in week 13, they have Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. The Titans are always tough just with how physical they are in the run game. And then the Steelers is a tough matchup in week 17. So to cap that off, they do get to play the Cardinals in week 18, which is almost a guaranteed win. But that is a pretty tough go of it there from weeks 13 to 17.
Outside of the Bengals game, I mean, there's a couple of good other playoff games, like the Giants one. That's going to be a tiebreaker playoff game. I think the Giants can make the playoffs as well, but it is they are going to need to make hay in the early parts of the season here. So go win 8 of their first 10 games just to give themselves a good shot, because you're right. Then it's essentially playoff season for them from there on out, because every single game is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a good season, I think, for the Seahawks. I like what they've done in the offseason, bring back Geno Smith, invest in Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I think is the perfect complementary piece as well. And then in free agency, get some defensive line pieces, and then also Devon Witherspoon to go across from Tariq Woolen. So I like what they're doing. I think they have a positive future ahead of them. But yeah, so I think we're going to wrap up that video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on how you think the Seattle Seahawks are going to do in 2023. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.